Hey, so I wanted to ask this question and kind of explore it a little bit with you guys. How important is frequency when it comes to healing? And so when I use the word healing, I'm using it in the grandest sense. So this could be healing physically, it could be emotionally, could be spiritually, could be financially. So healing as in just making something better from what it is. So do we use frequency enough? Do we appreciate frequency enough? And are we utilizing it to its fullest potential? And so let's just talk about when we talk about frequency, right? It's funny because in the spiritual world, right, there's a lot of words that are used over and over again and thrown around. And it's funny because there's not always a definitive explanation of what the word means. Like that timeline is another one. I hear people use it all the time, but it can mean different things. So when we talk about frequency, the simplest understanding of it is that everything carries a vibration. So everything emits and sends a frequency. And so we can use frequencies to support us in big ways, like in ways we're probably not using them or not having creating the intention around it. And so one of the ways that a couple of examples that they were giving me was just as an example, when you go and see your doctor, when you go see a doctor. So now this only works if you like and respect your doctor, right? And that is just to go and show you. So a lot of times when people go and see their doctor, right, and they just sit across the desk from the doctor talks to them for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is. And oftentimes when the person leaves, they feel better. And one of the reasons that happens is because that person, the doctor, is emitting a frequency. There's a frequency that's coming off of that person. This is why it's really, really important to be selective of who you interact with, because they're emitting a frequency. And so is it a frequency that you want, or is it a frequency that is going to make you feel worse? And so and I bring up the idea with the doctors because you can often see this, right? So a lot of times, so people, even, people that are not maybe fully awake consciously and are a little bit more under the program, right? They have a whole belief system around what a doctor is, or what kind of power or authority a doctor has. How many times have you heard somebody, and this usually applies to older people, I'm going to say, because, I find that a lot of younger people are waking up more now and understanding that how complex things are. But how many times have you heard someone say, oh, my doctor says to do this, or no, my doctor didn't say that, right? That's something my mom says all the time. My doctor didn't say that. So then it must not be true because my doctor didn't say it. And what happens is they have this belief in this being because they're called a doctor, because they wear a white coat or they sit at a desk and they automatically have this belief that this person has these abilities to be able to, help them, heal them, whatever it may be. And so sometimes just going to their doctor can actually make them feel better, because again, it's that exchange of frequencies. Here's another very interesting thing though. In order for that equation to work, the person that is sending the frequency, the doctor emitting it, also has to emit a strong frequency. And so this is why, we hear the God complex, the doctors have the God complex. And, by right, I guess it's a tough job, right? When you are a medical doctor or a surgeon, you have people's lives, you're responsible for them. It's a big, big, big responsibility. So most doctors have very, very strong egos, right? They're very, right? And so ego can be a good thing, right? It doesn't always have to be bad. But because of that, they have a sense of who they are. They have a sense of belief in what they're doing. They trust, they have faith in the words they're saying, right? They speak everything like it is the word of God, right? And because they do that, they're emitting that frequency. The person that's receiving it on the other end receives it, and it becomes healing for them. Just the exchange of the conversation, right? Now, where that doesn't go according to plan or be beneficial to you is if the sender, if the doctor, whoever you're going to see, is not in a state of wellness themselves. Because then if they're not in a state of wellness themselves, or they're not able to get themselves out of that, whatever they're in, long enough to talk to their patients, then you're going to receive the frequencies that are not healing for you and not helpful for you. And so is that part of the equation that happens when people are sick and they're going to their doctors and they're not getting better? Is there that exchange where the exchange of frequency is not beneficial? Probably. It definitely could be, for sure. And so I want you guys just to remind yourself about how important frequency is on the most subtle, simplest level. And that's just in how we are exchanging energies with the people that we come in contact with the most, and or the people that we go to for help, right? This is really important. This is, one of the reasons why that whenever I seek out somebody to for guidance, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be, whether it's a doctor or a naturopathic doctor or a Reiki master or whatever it may be, I, check into the energy and how their energy feels before I allow them to exchange any energy with me. And it's really important to do that because, again, if we are making conscious choices, always trying to make the most conscious choice of what we put into our body, what energies we bring into our bodies, what kind of energy we surround ourselves with, then we need to take it to this level. We need to take it to the level of all the interactions that we have need to leave us feeling better than when we started, right? And it's interesting because we do this subconsciously. We do this. We try and make our homes as comfortable as possible. We tend to wear comfortable clothes, right? We try and so we're always subconsciously trying to make ourselves feel better. And so we can then consciously do this by making sure that the frequencies that we are exchanging are beneficial for us. This is really, really important. So, and I've said this, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, but sometimes we forget about the most subtle exchanges, right? Like, I know you guys know that you listen to high frequency music, you listen to Solfeggio frequencies that we know that that's healing. We know that you can listen to sound bowls, those are healing. We know that you can listen to nature, the birds singing, that's very healing. And those are frequencies or emitting frequencies that you can hear, right? So we understand that frequency, we can hear it. But when you are in the presence of somebody else, we have to be mindful about those frequencies. And so do yourself a favor. You might, because this is such a pivotal time for us all right now, right? Like, so many of us are, again, the ups and the downs. So when you are working on trying to get up as much as you possibly can, be really mindful of who you're exchanging energy with and how that energy exchange is making you feel. So, if it's somebody in your family and the you're having a conversation and it's not feeling great, get up and walk away from it, right? Another thing that you can do, which is really, really helpful though, is you have an energetic shield, right? We have 2 protective barriers that we can use, and you guys can utilize this. And so one is your auric field. So your auric field is the energy field around your physical body. Now, some of us have very large auric fields, right? So meaning you could walk into a room and you feel the presence of that person already because their auric field is very, very wide and open. And then other times we can bring that auric field really, really close into our body so that we're not letting anything in. So we can create the intention and ask for support on making our auric fields to be strong. So that energy field around us to be strong. And then second of all, we have our energy field, which is where we can literally bring things in to build the energy around us. And so one of the most simple things is just to visualize, and I do this with Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, but I ask them to help my energy shield to be up. And I'll say it 3 times, shield up, shield up, shield up. And as I do this, I visualize, for me, it's a silver container that comes around. Your color may be something different. It can be any texture. But I visualize that coming up and coming around me. And as it does that, it's like a one-way. It goes, so only good energy, light energy can come in. So only certain frequencies are allowed to come in and anything else stops. And so if you're an empath or you're sensitive, that's really important to do anytime you're interacting with anybody, right? Even if it is your best friend or if you think it's a wonderful energy exchange, it's always good to not allow all energies just to flow through you. It's also really good to clear your energy after every interaction. The more that we can do this, the easier it becomes for when we're using specific frequencies for healing, then those frequencies will actually work better because it's just our energy that it has to align with and balance rather than a collection of everybody else's energies. And sometimes we don't even realize it, but we can pick up a lot of energies, right? If you are on social media and you're just scrolling through for a little while, every single time you stop on a page and you watch a video, believe it or not, there's an energy exchange that happens there, right? And I know for a fact that you can, watch some pretty heavy stuff sometimes, right? And so there's that, you're picking up that energy exchange. So have the conscious awareness of what frequencies you're allowing to come and go from you, right? Same thing. You want to be somebody who's emitting good frequencies, high frequencies, love. You want to be having conversations and putting out information that is heart-centered, right? You want to be exchanging that kind of frequency. And the more we consciously do this, the more we're admitting that love frequency, the better we all will be, because we're using frequency in the most powerful way possible. Sending you guys huge blessings.